Hey, I'm Charlie from Soundhouse here with Aysha Selim. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Wonderful. Right, first of all, what's your first musical memory?
Oh gosh. Probably children music.
Yeah. All right, all right. Do you remember the first piece of music that you bought?
Yes, that I do remember. And that was Demis Roussos.
Wow. Which album?
Can't remember.
Ah. All right. If you could have written any song, what would it be?
Ah, um, I guess it would be Say Something. You know
By
this?
oh the ah
I don't know by whom.
yeah it's by it's I have no idea, but I know the song you're talking about. The do you have
And
a
it could be any of Elton John's or the Beatles.
spectacular? Do you have a favorite snack or soft drink?
I used to like Cola Zero,
Hmm.
but stopped actually.
How come?
Uh, I think it's too unhealthy, and I don't know. I still crave it from time to time. When then I drink it.
Right. So most people who listen to this would know you as Ana Amari from Overwatch. We'll get to that in a bit. But you are the head of Masraya Media, and they're a big deal. Like your client list is spectacular. You got National Geographic. There's the BBC. You do localization for DreamWorks. How did you become involved with this sort of business?
I used to work with Disney. I was Disney Character Voices International in charge of the Arabic dubbing from an operational and from a creative point of view.
Hmm.
And that was from 1997 until 2006.
Oh,
So, and then they closed the operation. And then I left the business and went to do my master's.
hmm.
Then Masriya Media had already existed since 99, but
Right.
mainly as a text and subtitling company.
Hmm.
And the owner is one of my very close friends. So she said, why don't you? We've got an offer to do a pilot episode of Ugly Betty in Arabic
Oh, wow.
for a major cable network, and that's used to be Showtime. Now it's OSN, which is the biggest Arabic cable
Yeah.
TV network. And so we did it, and we've been chosen, and we launched with them their Arabic dubbed channel.
Hmm.
In the meantime, Disney decided that they were not happy with how their Arabic dubs were handled, so they gave me the work as sort of a vendor
Hmm.
instead of being part of the Disney. And during that same year, when they closed so many operations worldwide, many of those people went ahead and worked for those companies
Yeah.
like Sony and DreamWorks and all the others.
Yeah.
So this is how it came along, and we're quite happy and proud of our repertoire.
Yeah, you got such an impressive resume. So when I got the contact for you and I emailed you and said, "Hey, I'd love to chat," the very first thing you said to me was, "I'm not a voiceover artist," but that I'm gonna shoot you down on that because you voiced one of the most popular characters in the biggest game of this year. How does that come about if you're not really?
It came about that well, I did some acting, like, but none of that is professional. I was a theater minor at university, and but I've like it was all like amateurish thing.
Yeah.
And then we've been contacted actually because Overwatch were looking for someone in that age group and they send us the character description through actually a company in London.
Hmm.
They asked us as Masraya Media to produce that and to do the casting for them in order to find the voice of Anna.
Right.
And Literally, because I'm now more in the company in charge of the creative aspect, more than the operational one. We looked into our database and we picked like five or six, I can't remember, or seven that they should test for Anna. And then they got rejected.
Oh
And then
no.
they, and then because we're looking for someone who can speak English and Arabic.
Yeah.
And because that was the brief, and they told me, okay, you have sort of the voice print that they asked for. I said, okay, I'm not going to come to the studio to do a voice test. I'm going to record it from my living room and send you that. If that's fine, fine, because I really don't have time to do it. And so I recorded it on my computer and sent it. And then they wrote back to us, guess what, you're Anna. I was like, what? That was not planned.
Yeah. So you did all your recording from Cairo. You didn't go out to Blizzard and do it
No,
because
but they were with us online
yeah.
via Skype.
Hmm.
It was Andrea who directed me, and that was awesome, really, the way she handled it. And it was during the Ramadan, our fasting time,
Yeah.
although I don't believe anyone was fasting, but the fact is that the studios close at sunset, and we can only start working at 9 p.m.
Oh wow.
So that's why we started working from 9 p.m. till 3 a.m. our time, which was
Wow.
fine. And that was morning in LA.
Hmm.
And that was basically how it went.
Wow. So you've done this character Anna with like your normal voice, I guess, and it's been
Yeah,
well
yeah,
received.
yeah.
Everyone loves it. Are you
I know.
considering?
I'm quite flattered, actually. Said, what? I haven't like anticipated this.
Uh,
I'm far away from this game world, sort of, that though we localized so
yeah.
many of the games. But I'm more old-fashioned. I go to playing cards and old Monopoly and Scrabble and all this stuff.
Yeah. So you voice this character, and everyone loves you. I don't think there's anyone who I've seen who doesn't love Anna and her personality and the voice that you've given her. Would you consider doing more voice work in the future off of the back of this?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right. You mentioned that you worked for Disney doing the localization of their work in Arabic. Do you have a favorite Disney movie?
They remain favorite until you actually work with them,
Oh.
and then there's some problems arise, and then you start hating them.
Oh
That
God.
happened to me with actually Little Mermaid. I saw it in London when it came out, and I loved it. It was my favorite, but we had such difficulty working on it that I can't say I hate it. I don't hate them. It's like it becomes like a memory, bad memory for a moment, and then it vanishes after that when you watch the complete dub.
Yeah. All right. So at BlizzCon
No,
this
but I
year,
like the Little Mermaid.
you know what? So at BlizzCon this year, you sent a video transmission because you were in Cairo. Because as you mentioned,
Yeah.
you're with Masroya Media. You're too busy for this kind of thing. Do you plan to get out to the US or
No,
Europe?
actually, I think they were trying to fly me over, and I think there were some issues financial or something. I can't, so it
Hmm.
never really happened.
Hmm.
So and then we have this idea. Okay, why don't we record this transmission in front of the pyramids?
No.
I don't know if you've seen it or
Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah. You recorded the video transmission from Cairo. Do you plan, or would you like to get out to the US to do any other events in the future?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
All right.
I like traveling.
Yeah. What are your favorite voice lines for Anna?
I actually like the ones of the trailer,
Hmm.
the trailer where she talks to her daughter.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same one that I've used in the video transmission. Um, Not as long as there are people here who need me, and
Hmm.
something of a sort.
Yeah. Right. So you mentioned you like the trailer where she talks to her daughter. How much did Blizzard tell you when you voice the character? Like how much context are you given so you understand like what you're doing? Like with how does Andrea direct the whole thing?
No, it was actually a very good direction because all the time with Andrea was the writer.
Hmm.
Mike, he was sitting there,
Hmm.
and when we were not so sure, or when I was not sure about the context, he would explain, and we did pickups after that. There was a session for pickups,
Hmm.
like no, they think they want to do it, and actually I had uh, and what do you say, like the when you have the emotions director just for
Yeah.
the screens and the sounds and and
Yeah.
then that's cool.
Well, this is something which we're curious about because when like you fall off the map or something happens, you'll like let out this huge wail. Like, how many takes does it take to get the perfect falling off of the map into the abyss scream?
The first session, they plan, they tell you in advance that when she explains, Andrea, what we're supposed to do, we would do 3 takes. I would do 3 takes without any stopping, and if they want to do more, then they said another set of 3, and so on. The second session, it was basically for each line a set of 3. And it because I got into the character and like we had an understanding and I knew what things that I wasn't clear about.
Yeah. So, Andrea Toyes and Michael Chu, the writer and director, they
Mhm.
can't speak Arabic. Well,
Yeah.
I assume. But Anna obviously has Arabic voice lines, and you're
hmm
probably the most qualified person on the whole planet to have done the translation. So, was that handled by you, or was that handled at Blizzard? And
No, they hand it at Blizzard, but there's some instances that I told them we don't say that. If
Mhm.
it's colloquial Egyptian, no, it doesn't make sense. We
Yeah,
wouldn't say it this way. And there's some lines actually we were a bit like not so sure about, so
mhm.
we actually checked online some stuff, and they were very flexible about it. There was like okay, if you don't feel it, let's say it this way, whatever feels more comfortable in Arabic.
Yeah. All right. So you obviously with Mass Media, you handle like a lot of dubbing, and you deal with a lot of Western-made
Mhm.
productions. How do they portray Egypt in particular compared to how it actually is?
You mean like in any movies, you mean, or what, in the dubbed version, or?
So like, how do movies, obviously made by like people who aren't from the East, how do you feel about the way that they portray countries like Egypt? Is it accurate or is it shaky?
Actually, Egypt is unique in itself because of its history and the pharaohs, and people study it at school.
Hmm.
So, more or less, Egypt is correctly portrayed, let's say that.
Hmm.
It's just when you put everything under one roof, like the Arab world or Muslims or whatever,
Yeah.
this is where you start getting the like wrong portrayal of things.
Hmm. All right. So in America, when they dub things from the East, that they have a very generic, like East Coast accent, and all the characters are sort of don't have the same tone, but they could almost be from the same like city. Is that the same when it goes the other way? Is the dialect all the same, or is there different like types?
Huge issue at the moment. Well, you basically have, you're talking about what, 250 million people who speak Arabic as the native language. And the sort of the unifying language is what is referred to as classical Arabic, which is basically what is more correct to say it is modern standard Arabic,
Mhm.
which is basically how the news are read or the language books are written in,
Mhm.
stuff like that, which is ironically it is not it's not a spoken
Yeah.
language. It's just a written form of the language, but
Yeah.
understood everywhere
Mhm.
because it originally derives from the Quran, which is in Arabic.
Yeah.
But each country has its own dialect, and within each country there are several other dialects. For years and years and years, the entertainment dialect was the Egyptian because we used to have the biggest film industry in the region.
Hmm.
So anyone, it's like if you speak in Egyptian anywhere in the Arab world, they will like look at you immediately as if you must be a star because you speak in Egyptian.
Yeah.
And it has changed with times, though that we still have the biggest film industry in the region, but because of mainly these Turkish soap operas,
Hmm.
these were dubbed into Syrian dialect.
Yep.
So everyone started to understand the Syrian dialect as well. So, and then some politics got into the way, and it's like, no, let's have, for instance, all the animation needs to be dubbed into Modern Standard Arabic, known as MSA, so that children, when they learn it, so at least they don't learn a dialect of another country, they learn at least the written language.
Right. That makes sense. How do you feel about the way that the community has taken your character Anna and she's turned her into like this warm grandmother character that everyone loves?
I'm just surprised with the whole reactions because, as I told you, it's a very strange word to me, and so it's like people like really like into these things, and I'm actually flattered. And the thing, we just hired like 3 months ago someone new who actually is a game tester
Oh.
in Egypt, and during the interview, it's like he would look at me in awe, and it's like, what what is this? I said, can I ask you something? I said, yes. Are you Anna? It was like so weird. I said, can you say that line in Arabic and I'll take it to WhatsApp and send it to my friends so they really believe that I'm with you. I said, wow, I'm a celebrity. I didn't know that.
Well, so the line
So, I
that
like the character. I would say I like her.
yeah, how much do you know about like her not her backstory, but how like her attitude and stuff?
I've been given a fair description and a synopsis of what she's been through and her relationship with the others.
Hmm.
And I also went to Blizzard platform, and it's like people were guessing who's in the trailer and who is related to who, and so I got what I need to make me do the role,
Hmm.
put it this way.
Yeah. All right. So when Anna uses one of her abilities, she says a line which I'm not gonna butcher, um, but it differs depending on which gender is receiving it.
Uh-huh.
Why is that? What's like, what is it about the language that means that that's the case?
It's because we have feminine and masculine.
Hmm.
Like in English, it's easy. When you say you, it could be whatever, male, female, dual, plural, whatever.
Yeah.
But in Arabic, there's a distinction between each. So if I'm talking to like the widow, it has to differ. So we took takes for each.
Brilliant. So lastly, have you got a favorite cake or ice cream?
Chocolate, anything with chocolate, I love it.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Thank you, Troy.
All right.
And tell them, yes, it's me, okay?